So when I turn a wood bowl, I typically tend to use green wood 95% of the time. And that's simply because it's a lot easier to turn and get a hold of. And it's also cheaper in the long run. But because of that, I actually have to wait a few weeks, a few months, and potentially a few years just for the wood to dry. And that means I don't have a finished piece until it is done drying. But today I want to try something that I've actually never done before. And that is to take this chunk of maple here and turn it into a finished bowl in 24 hours. Alright, so I've got this beautiful piece of spalted maple mounted on a lathe and ready to go. And like I said, the whole goal of today is to take this piece of wood that was in log form just a few minutes ago and have it as a final bowl, like finish and all, 24 hours from when my gouge takes the first cut. Now just two things real quick. The reason why I chose this wood is because it's sort of giving me a head start as far as drying goes. It's actually been sitting in my driveway for about 2 to 3 years now, and it's by no means dry. It's still pretty wet, but it's not like if you were to take a log and turn it that was just cut down like 2 or 3 days ago, and even a few weeks. Like right now I have a few pieces of oak that are in the yard, and when I turn those, I mean I have water spraying off of those things, but I don't think that'll be the case with this. So, you know, it's still wet, but I don't think it will be that bad. And second, the reason why I decided to go with a natural edge bowl is because when I actually cut into it, there was a pretty bad crack that ran through the pith, and it has some cracks branching out from that. But there's nothing terribly, bad about the edge here. There are a few little cracks here and there, but it's nothing that I can't take care of with some CA glue. So that's the whole reason, because initially I did want to do a traditional style bowl with, the flat top and everything, but that crack sort of changed plans. But I'm excited to see how this piece turns out. So with that said, let me get my mask on so we can get the outside shaped. Alright, so the outside is about finished. I just have two things left to do, and for one, that's to clean up the tenon. And I actually already started that when I was roughing out the blank, but I need to do a little bit more finessing with it to get it finished. And then two, I decided to be a little bit extra with this piece and actually add some feet to it. Now, I haven't done that since the oak bowl that I turned a few months ago, I believe. And the carved feet are honestly one of my favorite little details to add to a bowl. And I'm already turning the bowl in 24 hours, so I figured why not add a little bit extra to do on top of this. But yeah, everything is turning out wonderfully. This bowl, or this wood, is beautiful. I absolutely love the way it looks. And I believe I'm going to go in and do a little bit of sanding, maybe just 80 grit, but the actual final sanding I'll do like I normally do when I actually use the jam chuck and everything. But I might go in and start cleaning up these tool marks just because. But anyways, let me get my mask back on so we can get all these things done and flip this thing around. right, so the bowl is almost finished. The turning portion is done except for cleaning up the tenon, but what I plan to do next is to try and sand as much as I can, and I think I'm going to go to 220 and then kind of let the surface moisture evaporate and then come back with 320 and do my final sanding, and that will be both for the inside and the outside. However, I will go in and do the outside sanding and then do the final sanding when I can jam chuck it and turn the tenon off. But yeah, I'm really excited about this bowl. I'm excited for the oiling shots. And speaking of that, I don't think I'm gonna actually oil today. I think I'm going to get in the shop early in the morning and do that. And just kind of let this sit and air out overnight. Just see if anything happens, if anything needs to be fixed, because there are a few cracks here at the top that need some CA glue. However, that's not from like drying right now. That is from just sitting in the driveway in the sun and the heat for 3 years. So I'm going to fill those in. But yeah, since I'm kind of on a time crunch, let me stop talking, get my respirator on, and get this thing sanded. Morning, everybody. It is just a little past 7 here in the shop, and I wanted just to kind of come out here and make sure the bowl survived the night. And what I mean is that there was no cracks or checks that came out throughout the night, and luckily everything survived. Nothing happened. The bowl is just as I left it yesterday afternoon. But the next step is just to get some oil on it so at least it's dry to the touch by 1 p.m. this afternoon. But yeah, let me get ready and do that. But first I'm gonna drink some coffee. Well, the bowl is finished and I beat the time limit just right around 2 hours. And truthfully, I had a ton of fun doing this, and it's something I definitely plan to try again in the future, because this piece of maple was not the only piece of wood that I've had sitting in my driveway for years, which is kind of sad to say as a wood turner, but it is what it is. There will be a video like this in the future. But that's going to be it for this one, and if y'all enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments. I always do appreciate that. And here are the final shots of what I'm calling the 24-hour bowl.